Maria Pavlovna, who is remembered in history as Princess Vladimir, was a woman of exquisite beauty and exceptional taste. Born in 1854 to Grand Duke Friedrich Franz II of Mecklenburg-Schwerin, she grew up amidst the European aristocracy. Her veins carried the blood of German princes and Russian emperors, which shaped her destiny. Majestic and unyielding, Maria Pavlovna embodied the ideal of a Grand Duchess, strong, noble, and unmatched in her style. Her marriage to Grand Duke Vladimir Alexandrovich, the son of Emperor Alexander II, marked the union of two powerful dynasties. The young princess quickly earned the respect and admiration of the Russian imperial court. Empress Maria Alexandrovna, renowned for her discerning taste, recognized Maria Pavlovna as a true aristocrat worthy of the role of Grand Duchess. However, Maria Pavlovna's true legacy extends beyond her noble lineage or her dazzling career at court. She left behind one of the most opulent collections of jewels in Russian monarchy history. From a young age, Maria was surrounded by the splendor and magnificence of royal jewels, and this love for beauty stayed with her throughout her life. As Princess Vladimir, she assembled a collection that amazed even the most sophisticated European jewelers. Among her jewels were family heirlooms passed down from her mother, as well as priceless gifts from her husband and other members of the imperial family. But Maria Pavlovna was not just a custodian of heritage, she was a true connoisseur of art. Her tastes knew no bounds. Her collection featured both understated yet exquisite diamond brooches, luxurious tiaras adorned with pearls, and magnificent necklaces studded with gemstones from around the world. Let's embark on our journey starting with the stunning Vladimir Ruby Kokoshnik. In 1908, Grand Duchess Vladimir traveled to Paris and entrusted Cartier with several of her diamond and ruby-encrusted jewels. Among them were 14 brooches, 2 pendants, and a necklace from which a new tiara and corsage were created. At their center sparkled an octagonal 5-carat ruby, known as the Beauharn, which was believed to have once belonged to Empress Josephine. After leaving Russia, Maria Pavlovna bequeathed this luxury to Grand Duke Andrei, who inherited the rubies, including the ruby Kokoshnik. However, he soon sold this precious piece back to Cartier. The buyer was Greek Princess Anastasia. Her son from her first marriage, William Bateman Leeds Jr., then married Russian Princess Ksenia Georgievna, niece of her second husband, Prince Christopher of Greece. The ruby Kokoshnik was mentioned among the wedding gifts given to Ksenia. Princess Ksenia wore this magnificent Kokoshnik only once, at the Russian ball held at the Plaza Hotel in New York in 1927, accompanied by her uncle, Prince Christopher. After her divorce in 1930, she might have retained the jewel, and possibly her daughter Nancy Leeds inherited it. However, the subsequent fate of the tiara remains a mystery. Now let's move on to the Vladimir Emerald Brooch. This splendid piece features an emerald cabochon surrounded by diamonds with a removable pear-shaped cabochon. This emerald brooch was likely part of the famous necklace of Grand Duchess Vladimir, which was inherited by her son, Grand Duke Boris. It's possible he gifted the brooch to his wife, Grand Duchess Zinaida, who in turn presented it to her sister-in-law, Princess Nicola. She was seen wearing the brooch in combination with the Vladimir fringe tiara at a state banquet in 1952. After Princess Nicola's death in 1957, the brooch passed to her younger daughter, Princess Marina, Duchess of Kent, who wore it at various events, including the wedding of the Marquis of Hamilton and Sasha Phillips in 1966, until her death in 1968. The emerald brooch of the Grand Duchess was one of the heirlooms inherited by Princess Alexandra of Kent, daughter of Princess Marina. She wore it as a brooch in the early 1970s, later repurposing it as a clasp for a pearl choker, either with or without the emerald pendant. This emerald necklace was also notably worn at Prince William's pre-wedding dinner in 2011. Now let's turn our attention to the Vladimir fringe tiara. This magnificent piece was gifted to Duchess Maria of Mecklenburg-Schwerin as a wedding present when she married Grand Duke Vladimir Alexandrovich in 1874. Fringe tiaras, mimicking the shape of the traditional Russian kokoshnik, were a common sight in the jewelry collections of the Romanov dynasty. Grand Duchess Vladimir wore this tiara both in its traditional style and in a more innovative way, featuring sunburst motifs. In 1902, the tiara was passed down to her only daughter, Grand Duchess Elena Vladimirovna, on the occasion of her marriage to Prince Nicholas of Greece. Additionally, she received a Russian diamond tiara from the Tsar, which could also be worn as a necklace, as well as a kokoshnik from her mother. Princess Nicholas was photographed wearing this tiara in a portrait from 1910. Later, the Vladimir fringe tiara adorned Princess Elizabeth of Greece, the younger daughter of Princess Nicholas, at her wedding to Count Karl Theodor von Thoring-Jettenbach in 1934. Just a few months later, her elder sister, Princess Marina, married Prince George, Duke of Kent. She also received a fringe tiara as a wedding gift from the City of London. However, the Vladimir fringe remained with Princess Elena, who wore it at prestigious events in Greece and kept it during her frequent exiles, remaining an active member of the Greek royal family until her death in 1957. The tiara then passed to her granddaughter, Countess Elena von Thoring-Jettenbach. In 1990, the tiara graced the daughter of Archduchess Elena, Archduchess Sophie of Habsburg-Lorraine, at her wedding to Prince Mariano Hugo von Windisch-Graetz in Salzburg. More recently, in 2005, Sarah Maya Alascari wore the tiara at her wedding to Archduke Maximilian of Habsburg-Lorraine in Rome. The tiara now belongs to Archduchess Elena, and it is likely that we will soon see this magnificent piece, the Vladimir fringe, again when her grandchildren reach marriageable age. One of Maria Pavlovna's most renowned pieces was the Vladimir tiara. In 1874, when Duchess Maria of Mecklenburg-Schwerin married Grand Duke Vladimir Alexandrovich, she commissioned a luxurious tiara from the Russian court jeweler Bolin. The tiara featured intertwining diamond circles set in gold and silver adorned with pear-shaped pearls. This flexible tiara could be worn in its original form or adapted into a closed crown, with the pearls easily replaceable by Cambridge emeralds. After her marriage, Grand Duchess Vladimir began to appear in this tiara at balls and portraits, often pairing it with other pieces from her famous pearl collection. A particularly memorable moment was her appearance in the tiara at the wedding of Prince Hohenlohe-Langenburg and her niece, Princess Alexandra of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha in 1896, where she was seen alongside the future owner of the tiara, Queen Mary. Grand Duchess Vladimir became one of the leading society figures in pre-war St. Petersburg, frequently dazzling in jewels from her exceptional collection. The Bolin tiara appeared in many portraits and at the ball at the Noble Assembly in 1913, the last grand ball of Imperial Russia. However, with the onset of World War I, the Grand Duchess concealed her jewels when she was forced to leave St. Petersburg following the February Revolution in 1917. Her jewels remained hidden in a secret safe in the Vladimir Palace. It was only later that her son, Grand Duke Boris, and his friend Bertie Stopford managed to retrieve them by disguising themselves as workers. They smuggled the jewels in Gladstone bags and secretly transported them out of Russia, storing them in a safe in London. However, an inventory conducted by Gerard in 1920 revealed that the Vladimir tiara had been damaged and some pearls and diamonds were missing. Grand Duchess Vladimir was the last Romanov to leave Russia and passed away a few months later. The exquisite tiara was subsequently inherited by Grand Duchess Elena Vladimirovna, who later sold it to Queen Mary. Maria Pavlovna did not merely wear jewels, she lived through them. Each piece reflected her personality, inner strength, and sophistication. The magnificence of these jewels, dazzling at court, barely touched upon their true significance. They bore witness to her triumphs and trials, joys and sorrows, and continue to tell the story of a Grand Duchess whose life was as complex and beautiful as the precious stones she so cherished. Which piece of jewelry impressed you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments.